everybody. I had to just start talking right away. I couldn't wait to start sharing this information from this Inspired by lesson today. So what we're going to do is we're going to take classic sounds that we hear on the radio all the time, a fantastic band, and we're going to relate this to soloing motions that you learn, hopefully from your great teachers out there other than us. You know, we get information from everybody. And when we learn these information from these videos, we want to have a context to relate it to. That's what we're going to use this song for. Hey, everybody. Click on that link that you see below. It's down there in the YouTube text box. What do you get if you click the link? Well, you get a free video that is not available on YouTube. And you get a coinciding ebook. Ebook's pretty awesome. Comes with all kinds of chords and scales and diagrams and all those things that you need in your everyday life. So just click on the link that you see down there below. So let's get into it. Basically here at the top, we want to establish some feel here, people. And what I had going with this, it's a neat way to play octaves. Just kind of doing it a little bit different. I'm going to skip over the G string. Maybe throw my pinky up here on a high E string there. Maybe go down and we'll get this one. Finish up with our A chord. So that kind of establishes some of the background sound and feel that we want to go into here. Now, I think it's good to know how to do some of these really cool bends up on the high E string, and these are great ways to get used to the sounds we hear all the time. So let's try with this one. That's going to be the first lick that we're going to start off with, and we're going to keep our phrase really, really short because this guitar player is very lyrical, and the messages in his solos are just like nice little statements. Now, I'm hammering from 10 to 12. I'm giving some vibrato off that first finger. Everybody knows vibrato can be tricky, especially in the beginning, and you're trying to think that you're pivoting from here on your hand. But the biggest thing that you want to think of is, I got to go up on the high E string right there. That's really difficult in the beginning. And I want to not change the note, but give it some love. That's what we say. The vibrato is, you know, it's your lifeline. It's your footprint. And or your fingerprint on your tone. When we bend up here, I'm bending up one note. Dropping my pick, apparently, which I'm going to have to pick up again. Did Dave get that on film? I hope so. That's when we reach into the pocket. Yep, these things happen. And you can't always hide them on video, so there you go. Ta-da! Human. Okay, so back to that bend where we're doing a little bit of getting two notes out of it. We try to be smooth all the time. Yeah, sometimes you fail. Now, within here, I can pre-bend. And that's a nice sound too, you know. I bent the note ahead of time. And look at how my first finger comes over, blocks on that third string. And that way, you know, you don't get any of that pop. And you really cover some of that sound. Now, really we're thinking of the pentatonic scale, and we're thinking of the D major pentatonic scale. So I'm thinking, those are the notes that we're using here, and we're focusing on the high strings here. Now we're going to go here. Some great movement that you could get out of a pentatonic shape right here, and this is going to combine more of the major sound. Let me get really aggressive. And those are cool motions that we could do, and these are the shapes that I'm going to think of. Now within this form of moving up on the pentatonic, I can bend up with my third finger and I can grab this note here with my pinky on the high E string. I love the sound of that. Maybe I'll go anything of that nature where I'm just thinking of hammer-ons and pull-offs. I can do whatever I want because I just like the sound of those notes, and I like the way that they chose to use them in a short phrase. Go straight to that high E string. that's a cool little bit right there, just really simple. Think of that melodically in there. That's kind of a cool little phrase, very characteristic of the guitar player. Now, something I want to bring into the video that's a little bit different, and I think is cool, is I actually hit pinch harmonics with an upstroke sometimes with my right hand. What do you say? Pinch harmonics with an upstroke. Okay, so the way that I'm doing this is I'm going to turn my hand like this so that you can see that off the pick, the finger extends past the, past, I guess I should say, the tip of the guitar pick there. So when I come up and I hit these notes, I get a little bit of that pinch on there. Now, depending upon what pickup I'm on, of course, it's going to affect the sound different. And sometimes that's just enough to help with that really cool tone. Now, in the case of this, maybe we'll lead in. It just makes it a little rounder without it, a little brighter with it. We're talking really subtle, really, really subtle. And it's those kind of dynamics, and it's from learning and being inspired by this kind of stuff and making it into my own playing that made me think of those things. Because, in the beginning, sometimes you don't have the tone that these guys do, and you don't have the gear that maybe these guys do. Especially in the case of a guy that invented his own gear to create the own sound of the band. So, what you do is you try to just mimic it the best way you can. And for me, cranking a little bit of verb on there and going made it that much different to me, where I heard that pinch and affected with the reverb. It helped me out and helped me stay inspired by the style. So what do we got here? I think we've got a couple of classic licks by a great band. Let's recap the licks and then we'll call it a day. So we had the movement up here in the major pentatonic scale. And we're throwing in some of a pinch with an upstroke. That's kind of a cool technique to get out of the video today as well. Moving into this position of pentatonic, and we're just going to talk about just that group of notes in a major pentatonic scale. That kind of motion where we're bending up. Maybe taking a high E string bend off the 17th fret. And focusing on a D major triad. And, thinking of a D major pentatonic scale and just using some creative licks in there. And trying to be inspired by some of our favorite people. Ending on that D. I hope you find these licks helpful. For me, I think it's just taking something you hear all the time and trying to make it your own. Got a little bit of a upstroke pinch harmonic. That's slightly different as well. So everybody go to the website. Thank you so much. nextlevelguitar.com, and I'll see you next time. Let's dive right on in.